It moved in fast and furiously, and late this afternoon, Governor Andrew Cuomo declared a state of emergency, joining the governors of New Jersey and Connecticut in doing that. Cleanup across the tri-state will take days. The storm's fierce wind gusts knocked down trees and power lines all across our area. At the peak of the power outages, almost 3 million customers were without electricity. And right now, over 2 million are still without power, a majority of them in New Jersey. News 4's John Chandler is in Teaneck, where some could be without power, we're told, for days, John.
Chuck, that's right. About half of Teaneck right now without power, and it will take days because of scenes like this. Trees that have toppled over, dragging power lines with him. All of that has to be cleaned up, as well as, in this unfortunate case, the car that was crushed beneath it before power can start to be restored. If only he'd parked somewhere else. That's what Daniel Walcott thinks, looking at his car, or what's left of it.
All day, man. I swear I kept coming outside just staring at it. It's just, you don't think about things like this happening all the time, you know?
His car is lost, but just across Teaneck,
not one single scratch.
This car was saved. But there's not a scratch on this car. This tree completely avoided it.
You know, they should play their lottery because it's actually perfectly fit in. You couldn't build the mold and put that better in.
Fortunately, no one was in the driveway when this happened. Natalie Jose captures the moment the decades-old tree in her front yard toppled over next door. The car nearly untouched, but also unmovable. A concern for Natalie's neighbor, a cancer patient who needs to get to his doctor.
At least this house in particular, we need Teaneck Township to come out and really remove the tree.
How urgent is it that your neighbor gets to his doctor's appointment?
It's very urgent because he missed today's appointment.
Teaneck officials are aware, but like most of New Jersey, swamped with calls of downed trees, limbs, and lines. On almost every block in Bergen lies some sign of this storm.
If you were to ask me what region of New Jersey was hit the hardest, I would have difficulty in explaining or recognizing any particular area.
And cleanup is a tedious task. Trees have to be cleared, lines repaired.
Man, it's just crazy, you know?
Meanwhile, Daniel is thankful getting a new car is his only concern.
So anything could happen. Someone could have got hurt or even worse.
This section of the street is currently blocked off. These power lines not live as they await crews to come and take care of them. Governor Murphy says the legacy of this storm will be in its power outages. They hope to have this state back up and running under power at an 80% rate by Friday. We're live in Teaneck, New Jersey. I'm John Chandler, News 4 New York.
All right, John, let's hope so. Let's move to New York now, where Governor Cuomo is calling for a state investigation into utility companies' response to this storm. In the city, 911 dispatch was getting about 100 calls per minute. The city says it is handling more than 20,000 tree service requests, almost half of those in Queens. News 4's Adam Cooperstein live in Whitestone, where a lot of those trees, Adam, as we can see behind you there, haven't been moved.
Yeah, and people here are already getting impatient with uprooted trees blocking their streets. And then look over here, scenes like this everywhere. Downed trees across the way, snapped power lines, people still waiting for power to come back on. And with the damage so widespread, they know it's going to be a while.
A lot of unplanned landscaping in Queens. The day after, Tropical Storm Isaias toppled thousands of trees across the city.
Destruction is just unreal.
People in Queens Village taking in the aftermath of the storm's wrath. A car crushed, this house narrowly spared.
Pretty windy and pretty scary, and some tree come down right in front of my house and right next to my house.
This house that just went into contract took a direct hit. In fact, the realtor says they did a walkthrough only 10 minutes before the tree fell.
Oh my God. You know, when the storm came down a little bit, I ran in to make sure everything is okay. The house inside is fine.
How would you like to feel? You know, you just buy a house, and all of a sudden, the house is now with a tree on top of it.
Oh, my God.
The tree breaks their house.
In Whitestone, Queens, a family helplessly watched this tree fall onto their neighbor's house.
There's probably a couple of broken windows. All the gutters on this side are shot.
You're still able to live inside the house?
Thank God, yeah. We have half the house has power, half the other half doesn't.
The entire neighborhood's still without power, now waiting for crews to remove the debris, with the city overloaded with requests.
As long as nobody got hurt, we're okay.
You've got a pretty good attitude about it.
Yeah, hopefully we'll fix everything and the kids are okay, my wife is okay, everybody on the block is okay.
And that man's car right here, totally smashed up, but better to have property messed up, of course, than human lives or people getting injured. People in this specific neighborhood say the damage here, by the way, worse than even Superstorm Sandy. Reporting live in Whitestone, Queens, Adam Cooperstein, News 4 New York.
All right, Adam, thank you. Now, as for mass transit, things have quieted down a little bit, but there are still system-wide problems and system-wide cancellations. New Jersey transit crews are still working to clear more than 2,000 trees across the transportation system. More trees than Superstorm Sandy toppled onto the tracks. There's still no service on the Morris-Essex-Gladstone branch and Montclair-Boonton lines. Many other lines are running on weekend schedules. As for the LIRR, the Montauk branch is suspended. Metro North, the Danbury branch is out. So is the New Canaan branch on the New Haven line. The northern section of the Harlem line from Wassaic to Southeast is suspended. MTA buses are taking detours due to fallen trees. Subways and ferries, though, are back to normal.
Well, similar to New York's governor, Connecticut Governor Ned Lamont has also announced an investigation of the state's public utility companies after widespread power outages. Hundreds of thousands of people still without power in the state after the storm. The governor toured some damage today. He wants to know what specific steps those companies took in the lead up to Isaias. Now, the governor is meeting with the CEO of Eversource today and plans to work with them to determine a schedule for power restoration and then hopes to hold them to that.
Well, Natalie, Stamford could use the help. According to Stamford Police Captain Sue Bretthauer, about 10,000 homes there are without power, most of them north of the Merritt Parkway. In Westchester, Con Ed is working hard to restore tens of thousands without power. There is no timeline of when it can be restored, but until it is, the Westchester grocery chain DeChico and Sons is helping out the community by storing their cold and frozen food for the residents.
Super kind of them as well, helping them out there. All right.